Introducing the all-new BYD Sea Lion 7, the luxury electric SUV that's changing the game. Book your free test drive today at the BYD showroom in Sheffield.
Dr. Steelhammer, Vladimir Klitschko, and Dr. Iron Fist, Vitaly Klitschko, Shannon the Cannon Brigg, and Butterbean, Cruiserweight King Jai Opetaia.
Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Gareth A. Davies, thank you very much, all the way from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've got that right?
You have indeed. I've been doing the bare knuckle event for the last couple of days. Great fun that was as well, doing the broadcast with Mike Goldberg, Claudia Trejos, Big Mo. I've signed up for this and obviously kept abreast. It was a great event here, but obviously kept abreast. That was Friday night. Just stayed over an extra day. I'm leaving today, but kept abreast of Heavy Impact. And it was Heavy Impact last night in Manchester.
It was. Well, I'm normally used to the lovely aesthetics of your house, and this behind you looks like a bit of a quirky hotel room.
That is exactly what I'm in. I'm in La Quinta Suites by the beach. I'm just. Shall I just do the background now that you've seen it?
Go on.
See if I can do it. Yeah, I don't know how to do these.
It's too late.
Which one?
That carpet doesn't look great. That wallpaper looks a bit like it needs a new lick of paint. I don't know, but as long as it sounds nice though. Whatever it was called, something.
The Quinta Suites by Wyndham. Yeah, it's fine. It's like a tiny little kilometre from the beach, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go down and hunt for shark's teeth in a minute once we've done this.
Yeah, well, we'll jump into the boxing, and just for clarity, you're not joking about the shark's teeth. People might think you're joking, but I know you will be.
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to go and hunt for shark's teeth. The tide's out,
Okay.
so I'm going down there. No, you can find lots of shark's teeth on the beach. Yeah.
Brilliant. Gareth, the Shark Teeth Hunter, your new name. Let's jump into it. Heavy Impact, as you mentioned last night. I think I'll just jump straight to the biggest talking point from last night, which was the ending of David Adeleye, Jamie TKV. But before we talk about that ending, how did you have the fight scored going up to that moment?
I thought Jamie TKV had three. It was the fifth round, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
I thought TKV started very. It was very odd, subdued start from both men, to be honest. I thought Jamie TKV had three very good rounds at the start. A couple of those were close, but I thought he just shaded them. I thought Adeleye started to really come into his own in the fourth round. Movement, landed a few big punches, and was going well in the fifth round. But I don't agree that that TKV was dominating in any way. But he was putting up a very, very fine performance to that point. So I had TKV just ahead.
Before we talk about the ending, the way the fight was panning out, how would you predict? Do you think David would have turned it around, or do you think Jamie would have gone on to potentially win on points if it didn't end how it ended?
He was turning it around, in my view. That's the way I saw it. I remember I saw it on the DAZN broadcast on my laptop. I thought Adeleye was coming into his own. I thought he had a very good fourth round and was having a very good fifth round.
Okay.
And to answer your question, I thought Adeleye was taking over.
Okay, doke. And then going to the key moment that's been the big talking point last night, we see both of them in a clinch. In fact, before we talk about that bit, there was a moment earlier in the fight, similar scenario, but it was the other way around, where the referee called break, and I think Jamie threw a right hand, which caught Adeleye, scuffed on his chin, and obviously he warned him, carried the fight on, and then we get to the bit in the round 5. The referee can clearly be heard on the videos saying break twice, and then it's like get your hand off him, and he slaps Jamie's left hand, and then it just appears like Jamie's just switched off for a split second, and wham comes in the left hook, and it's lights out. So you tell me, what did you make of that very moment?
Well, I agree with all the things you said. I think they're accurate. In the moment, I wondered, wow, is he going to get disqualified here? Or certainly a point deducted for landing on the break. That was my immediate thought. I also thought, if going back retrospective, and I agree with the analysis you just gave of it, that it's irrelevant what David Adeleye was saying afterwards, that this happened to me in my fight with Fabio Wardley. That's irrelevant to this, and I don't remember that in that fight anyway. I think there were grounds for disqualification. If you go by the rules, technically there are grounds for disqualification. I think with the referee his hand on the fighter, I'm not sure I agree with that either, because you're stopping him defending himself at all time. But if he's called break twice anyway, that is, regardless of the other boxers heard it or not, he needs to face the penalty afterwards. So it was a dissatisfactory end, and I get why. I've seen some of the interviews with Ben Davison and Barry Smith, why they were so incensed afterwards. Both they kept their counsel fairly well in the ring, but they were very disgruntled afterwards in interviews. I mean, you would have spoken to them as well. They were very unhappy about it, and I do get it. It's very unsatisfactory how it's played out, and I think. I spoke to Robert Smith this morning. They've got a board meeting this week. He said he's accumulating all the information at the moment. He's waiting for Ron Kearney, the referee's report. He's a star referee, so he is at the higher level. Star referee and judge, been in the business 10 years. So they're going to look at all the detail from around it, the ringside supervisor's report, Kearney's report, take it all in, look back over it, and I think they'll order a rematch, Boxing King Media. I think that's the only way to go with this. Order a rematch for the British title. They have to get it on again, and they have to get it on soon. TKV wasn't desperately knocked out and hurt in the fight. I think he can come back from this, and I'd like to see this fight happen again.
Is there a risk of it being turned to a DQ, which potentially could be unfair on David Adeleye? I don't know. What would you kind of make? Could it now be? Because obviously he's won the British title, so if it turns to a DQ, it goes as a loss on his record. Then what do you think? Has Robert Smith given an indication as to which way they might go down?
No, he won't do that yet. All he's saying is he's amassing the information. He wasn't at the event, by the way. Robert Smith wasn't the ringside supervisor on the night. He wasn't overseeing it. Obviously, they've got huge work going on getting the thing together for Canelo and Skull, because they're overseeing that in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I think they've got folk that might be at the WBC league as well, so they're very busy with a lot of things, and he is particularly busy. But I think it's good, I think, for once, that it falls on a week where there's a stewards meeting, because that will definitely, as he said, be on the agenda, so a decision can be made very quickly. Whether they disqualify him, whether they order an immediate rematch, will be down to how the stewards see it on the day. I can't predict that, but for me, I would annul it if it was me, and I'd just order a rematch and make the title vacant again.
To your knowledge, have the British Boxing Board in a similar scenario ever ordered an immediate rematch?
I think they do. I can't think of one at this moment, but they're very unpredictable anyway. How it goes, to me, it depends whether they go in defence of Kearney and what Kearney explains. There's conflicting reports afterwards that people talking to the referee from the teams. He said he didn't say break, but he clearly says break, and he clearly touches. So, I mean, I watched that back. I saw it live anyway, and I thought, wow, this is not a good way to end a fight of this nature. And after, you were excited about it because of the build-up, because of the tables, because being overturned, because of the smack talk on Talk Sport the other day, because of the friendly kind of rivalry which turned to enmity between them in the last couple of weeks. David Adeleye trying to wind Jamie up, and the teams going at it during the week. It was unmissable. And I made sure I had a good, strong Wi-Fi connection because I didn't want to miss it because it was one of those fights that could have been very explosive. Weirdly, it wasn't particularly explosive fight. They were both quite subdued early on, I thought, but maybe that's down to the way Jamie was fighting the fight, and Adeleye looked very, very confident for me.
Okay, well, and just a final word on that. What do you want to happen? What do you think should happen? How should it be? How should it be?
Annul the victory, declare the belt open again, and order an immediate rematch.
So no contest and order.
No contest, yeah, no contest.
Funnily enough,
Don't penalise or punish Adeleye. He's in the moment. In terms of he's done what he wanted to do. He should have been earlier on in the fight. My feeling was they weren't doing much clinch work. There wasn't much inside fighting, was there? And they were I thought Ron could have separated them a little bit more than he was doing as well. He wasn't giving a wide gap when he was separating them either. I wanted him to be more forceful. And I thought he was talking to TKV a lot more than Adeleye, who was doing the same kind of things.
I did see somebody tweet. It might have been Paul Smith, but I don't want to quote him if it definitely wasn't him. In fact, let me have a look. See, boxing. Okay, good. Like, I think there was some suggestion online that maybe it's time for younger judges, younger referees. What do you think of that?
Yeah, always. Listen, he's worked his way up. Maybe bigger referees when you've got such big guys. That's why Steve Gray's always handy. Howard Foster's very kind of aggressive with them, getting them apart. We know what Marcus McDonnell like. He's a very authoritarian. Lyson. Look, we didn't. When I did notice it, so I don't know if you noticed this straight away. It's a referee we don't normally have for big heavyweight fights, for title fights, and I thought, oh, he might be tested by these two tonight because of the build-up, because of that. But time will tell on this. But like I say, it sounds like you agree with me as well that they need to declare this annulled, no contest, and get it back on again.
Moving on, the main event, JOYCE. What did you make of his performance? Because you're gonna have all the naysayers coming in saying he needs to retire, etc., etc., which has been kind of the script for the last few fights, and he's lost, I think, 4 out of the last 5, if I'm right. What did you make of his performance? Was he better than you expected?
Yeah, he was. He showed tenacity, heart, a great work rate all the way to the end. 10 rounds, wasn't it? I mean, had it been 12, he was still in the fight, but Hrgovic's work, even off playing possum off the ropes, was better all the way through. I didn't have it as wide as a couple of the judges. I had it by 2 rounds to Hrgovic, who was obviously dealing with that cut for most of the fight. I thought it was a very tenacious, very proud and very active performance by JOYCE, who did exactly what he needed to do, which was start faster early. He gave Hrgovic a hard, torrid fight. This is a big juggernaut of a man, remember? So I thought he did very well against a guy who's number 8 in the world, maybe even a little bit higher. And I've got to say this. I'd like to see Joe hang it up now. That's my personal feeling because he's coming up 40. The problem from here is that he could become the guy that they put Moses Itauma in with, the guy that they put Fabio Wardley in with, and Joe takes a lot of shots. What I'll say is he jabbed better, he moved better, he was faster, but Hrgovic, his hand speed beat him to the punch almost round after round. But if I'm asked honestly, and I know Joe fairly well from over the years, I think it's time to hang him up.
Well, I think Umar asked him this last night on Box Nation. I think his response was along the lines of what you're talking about. That's my job.
Yeah, well, that's fine. And you know what? He did a good job. But you just don't want to see Joe take too many punches against young studs that he'll be put up against now, in my view. It was a massive opportunity for him against Filip Hrgović. More of an opportunity, really, to get back into the big time mix than if he had fought Dillian Whyte on the night, obviously. So I thought he put up a fine and valiant performance. I take nothing away from the performance, but if he doesn't want to give it up, that's up to him. And far be it from us to retire him. I'm just giving my opinion.
Okay. Anything else or anyone else stuck out to you last night, Gareth, on the card?
Well, the Rafferty fight, the end of the Rafferty fight was, or part of it was slightly controversial as well, with
Yeah.
a boxer being hit in the break. We've got to be careful about this. Hopefully they'll review that at the Boxing Board of Control. I just watched those 3 fights last night, if I'm honest. I wanted to make sure I watched the end of that. Obviously, Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller, the cat is out of the bag. I think you and I knew about that weeks ago. I'm glad it's on Portman Road, 35,000. It's going to be a great event. Fabio was there last night in Manchester. Jarrell Miller too. Loved the face-off. Can't wait for it. Great test for Fabio because Jarrell Miller, when he's got his bit between the teeth, I thought he beat Andy Ruiz last summer in Los Angeles, and really looking forward to it. In the sunshine, Portman Road, 35,000. All the Suffolk fans. Great to have a big fight in a big stadium there.
Indeed. I've got one last question for you. I'll put you on the spot. That particular weekend on the 7th of June, we've got Callum Simpson, who will be in a sold-out Barnsley Stadium, fighting for the European title against the undefeated big punching Italian, I think it is. You got Fabio Wardley versus Gerald Miller at the Ipswich Town Football Stadium on the same date. And on June the 8th, the next day, you've got Jaya Pataya defending his world title against another Italian in the Gold Coast in Australia. If you could be at any one of them events that weekend, Gareth, which one do you want to be at?
It's Fabio Wardley, Jarrell Miller, even though I'm a huge fan of both Callum Simpson and who I think will go on to be a world champion. And even though a lot of people say he's overrated, I don't agree with that. I think he's got something special. And obviously Jaya Pataya. But the great thing is, with modern technology, you can be across all of them. And I imagine that TalkSport will be doing a live broadcast from Portman Road, and I hope to be there.
Indeed. Gareth A. Davies, thank you so much for your time. Have a safe flight back home, and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you, my brother. Cheers.
Yeah, bye.